Murder in the first degree, premeditated homicide, is the most serious charge tried in our criminal courts. You have heard a long and complex case, and it is now your duty to sit down to try and separate the facts from the fancy. One man is dead. The life of another is at stake. If there is a reasonable doubt in your minds as to the guilt of the accused, then you must declare him not guilty. If, however, there is no reasonable doubt, then he must be found guilty. Whichever way you decide, the verdict must be unanimous. I urge you to deliberate honestly and thoughtfully. You are faced with a grave responsibility. Thank you.
The jury will retire.
The man does not stand a chance.
Julio, come back in. Come. You know something? I don't want the things.
Time and advertising.
Time.
I would never have known that if you hadn't told me, would you?
I suppose not. I really kind of forgot.
Well, no, it's sweat.
You know, I bet you're not sweating like that kid was trying.
You think they at least air condition the place? Most passed out before.
My taxes are high enough, thank you.
This ought to be fast anyway.
It's hot in here. Okay, gentlemen, everyone's here. If you need anything, I'll just be outside and just knock on the door.
You locked that door?
Yes, he did.
What do you think we are? Crooks?
They locked us in here for a little while.
Oh, and then they'll put that kid and lock him up forever, huh? That's all right with me.
I never knew they did that.
Sure they did. What do you think?
I just didn't know they ever could.
Shall we all admit right now that it's hot and humid and our tempers are short?
Yeah, it's been a pretty hard week.
Oh, I feel fine.
I wonder what's been going on down at the office. You know how it is in advertising. In 6 days, my job could be gone. The whole company, too. They aren't going to like this.
I will figure this is our duty.
I didn't object to doing my duty. I just mentioned I might not have a job by the time I get back.
Hey, ask him to hire you. He's rich. Look at that suit.
Is that custom paper?
Yes, it is.
I have it on custom paper.
Yes, it did.
Not too well. You know, a friend of his that's a friend of my uncle, the Taylor. Well, anyway, this friend of his wanted to be on the jury in my place.
Why did you let him? I haven't done anything to this.
And get caught or something? Do you know what kind of a fine that could be in a situation like this? Well, anyway, this friend of his was on a jury once, and it was about 10 years ago, and it was a case quite similar to this one.
So what happened?
They let him go. Reasonable doubt. And you know, it was about 8 years later that they found out he had actually done it anyway. So now you got a guilty man, a murderer, who just turned loose on the streets.
Did they get him?
They couldn't.
Why not?
A man can't be held in double jeopardy. Unless it's a hung jury, you can't try a man twice for the same crime.
That ain't gonna happen here.
Yeah. 6 days. Yeah, they should have finished it in 2. Talk. You ever hear so much talk about nothing?
Well, I guess they're entitled to
Oh,
it.
well, you know, man, everybody's entitled to a fair trial. It just doesn't. Yeah, well, I guess you can't say anything bad about it.
I just like that business about the knife. Did you ever hear a funnier story?
Well, look, you gotta expect that. You know what you're dealing with.
He bought a switch knife that night.
Yeah, and then he lost it.
A hole in his pocket.
The hole in his father. An awful way to kill your father, a hole in a knife in the chest. Well, look at the people that look at the people that they are. You know what they are.
What's the matter? You got a cold?
Oh, Lulu, these hot weather clothes.
I had one last year while I was on vacation.
Okay, gentlemen, let's be seated.
Right. This better be fast. I gotta take this to see Dan Yankees for the night. Look, we're the only guy in the world who hasn't seen it yet. All right, Your Honor, start the show.
How about sitting down? Gentlemen, over there by the window. How about sitting down?
Sorry. Hard to figure, isn't it? A kid kills his father. Big. Just like that. Well, you know, it's the element. They let these kids run wild. Maybe it serves them right.
There are better proofs than some emotion you may have. Perhaps a dislike for some group.
We all agreed it was hot.
And that our tempers will get shorn.
Well, that's if we disagree. But this is open and shut, right? Let's get it done.
All right, now gentlemen, you can have it any way you want. What I mean is that I'm not gonna make a bunch of rules here. If we want, we can discuss it and then vote, that's one way, or we just go ahead and vote now, and then we'll find out how we stand.
I said we vote now.
Let's vote.
Yeah, right.
Maybe we can all go.
Okay, let's see who's
Does anyone
where.
not want to vote?
That was easy.
Okay. All of those in favor of guilty, raise your hand. 9, 10, 11, guilty. All those not guilty, or guilty,
Not guilty.
not guilty.
You're left field.
All right, that's 11 to 1. 11 guilty, 1 not guilty.
You really think that that kid's not guilty?
I don't know.
6 days and he doesn't know.
In 6 days, I can learn calculus. This is ABC.
I don't think this is as simple as ABC.
I never saw a guiltier man in my life.
Guilty man looks like. He's not guilty until we say he's guilty. Are we supposed to vote on his face?
You sat in court and you heard the same things we did. He's a dangerous killer. You can see it.
You look to see if a man's a killer.
Oh, well.
No, I'd like to know. Tell me what the facial characteristics of a killer are. Maybe you know something I don't.
Look, what is there about this case that makes you think the boy is innocent?
19 years old.
That's old enough. 4 inches right into the chest and killed his own father. This innocent little 19-year-old kid.
I agree with you that the boy is guilty, but I think we should try to avoid emotionally colored arguments.
Oh, all right, okay. They proved it a half a dozen different ways. You want me to list them?
No.
Well, do you believe the stupid story he told?
Yeah,
No. Do you believe the kid's story?
I don't know if I believe it or not. Maybe I don't.
So would you vote not guilty for?
There are 11 of you that voted for guilty. It's not going to be so easy for me to raise my hand and send a boy off to die without talking about it first.
Who says it's easy for me?
Or me.
Well, you know, he's still just as guilty, whether it's a hard vote or an easy vote.
Is there a problem because I voted fast?
Not necessarily.
I think the kid's guilty. You couldn't change my mind if you talked for 100 years.
You don't want to change your mind.
Yeah, just what do you have in mind?
I want to talk for a while. This kid's been kicked around all his life. You know, living in a slum, mother dead since he was 9. It's not much of a head start. He's a tough, angry kid. You know why slum kids get that way? Because we knock them over the head once a day, every day. I just think maybe we owe him a few words, that's all.
All right, sure. It was hard. It was hard for me. I fought for everything I've got. I worked my way through college, but that was a long time ago. And perhaps you do forget. I fought, yes, but I never killed.
Oh, I know what it's like. I never killed nobody.
Hey, I've been kicked around too. Wait till you worked in an ad agency and the big boy that buys all the advertising comes walking in. We all know.
In my country, in Europe, kicking was a science. But let's try to find a better way than that.
Look, I don't mind telling you this, mister, we don't owe this kid a thing. He got a fair trial, didn't he? Do you know what that trial cost? He's lucky he got it. Now, you're not going to tell us that we're supposed to believe him knowing what he is. We're all grown-ups here. You know, you can't believe a word they say. I've let them mug them all my life. You can't believe a word they say. You know that.
I don't know that. It's a terrible thing for a man to believe. Since when is honesty a group characteristic? You have no monopoly on truth.
Oh, okay. It's not a sermon.
What this man says is very dangerous.
I don't see any need for arguing like this. We ought all be able to behave like gentlemen.
Oh, all right, if you insist.
Thank you.
Sure.
If we're going to talk about this case, let's discuss the facts.
Well, you know, I think that's a good point. We've got a job to do here, let's do it.
If you gentlemen don't mind, I'm going to close the window. It's blowing like that.
I'd like the window open if you don't mind.
But it's blowing on me.
Wouldn't you like a little air? It's summer, it's hot.
I am very uncomfortable.
There are 12 of us in this room. It's the only window, if you don't mind.
I have some rights too.
So do the rest of us.
Couldn't you trade chairs with someone at the other end of the table?
All right, I will leave open the window if someone will trade.
Take my chair.
Thank you.
Should we get back to the case?
Yeah, let's.
I might have an idea here. I'm just thinking out loud right now, but it really occurs to me that it's up to us to convince this gentleman that he's wrong and we're right. So maybe if we each talk about it for a minute or two, you know, let's try it out for size.
That sounds fair enough to me.
Very fair.
Okay, why don't we just go around the table once? Okay, two, let's start with you.
I just thought he was guilty. I thought it was obvious.
Well, where was it obvious?
Well, nobody proved otherwise.
Nobody has to prove otherwise. He's innocent until he's proven guilty. Burden of proof's on the prosecution. The defendant doesn't even have to open his mouth. Now, that's in the Constitution, Fifth Amendment. You've heard of it.
Everyone has.
Sure, I've heard of it. I know what it is. I mean, I think he's guilty.
No reasons, just guilty. There's a man's life at stake here.
All right, let's look at the facts, all right? Now, number one, let's take the old man who lived on the second floor, right underneath the room where the murder took place. At 10 minutes after 12, he said he heard noises coming from the upstairs apartment. Said it sounded like a fight. Then he heard the kid yell out, "I'm going to kill him." He heard a body fall a second later. So he ran to the door of his apartment, he looked out, and he saw the kid running down the stairs and out the front door of the house. Then he called the cops. They found the father with a knife in his chest.
And the coroner timed the death around midnight.
Right. Yeah. Now, if that's not enough for you.
Just doesn't seem to fit.
The boy's entire story is flimsy. I mean, he claims he was at the movies. It's a little ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah. Did you hear that? He's absolutely right. Yeah.
He didn't have a ticket stub.
Now, who keeps a ticket stub at the movies?
That's true enough.
Well, I suppose, but the cashier didn't remember.
Oh, the ticket taker didn't remember either.
Look, what about the woman across the street? If her testimony doesn't prove it, nothing does.
That's right. She saw the killing, didn't she?
No, wait. Here's a woman lying in the bed. It's summer, it's hot, she can't sleep. Anyway, she wakes up, she looks out the window across the street, and she sees the kid stick a knife into his father.
Now, how could she really be sure it was the kid if she saw it through the windows of a passing elevated train?
She's known the kid all his life. Their windows opposite each other across the L track. And she swore she saw him do it.
Yeah, I heard her swear to it.
Okay, and then they also proved in court that you could look through the windows of a passing L train at night and see what was happening on the other side. They proved it.
Weren't you just telling us a minute or two ago that you can't trust them, can't believe them?
Yeah, so?
Well, let me ask you a question. Why do you believe her? Isn't she one of them, too?
Oh, you're a pretty smart boy.
Hey, come on, take it easy now.
Hey, don't let him get you all upset. Okay, come on, relax.
Gentlemen, they did take us out to the woman's room, and we were able to look out the windows of the moving elevated train, weren't we?
Yes, you did.
And were we able to see what happened on the
I
other side?
wasn't able to see as well as they told me I would be able to see, but I did see what happened on the other
You
side.
see? You see?
Calm down now. Okay, fine, sure, cover. I'll test it. That's your privilege. 6, how about you?
Now, I don't know. I started to be convinced, by the testimony of the people who lived across the hall. Didn't they say something about the father and the boy having an argument about 7 o'clock? I mean, could be wrong.
I think it was 8 o'clock, not 7.
8 o'clock, that's right.
They heard the father hit the boy twice. Then they saw the boy walk angrily out of the house.
Right.
So what does that prove?
Well, it doesn't exactly prove anything. It's just part of the picture. I didn't say it proved anything.
What, anything else?
No.
Listen, I think most everything's already been said. I think we're just wasting our time.
Well, I don't.
Neither do I. Go on.
Well, look at the kid's record. He stole a car. He was arrested for mugging. And I think that they said that he stabbed somebody in the arm.
They did?
He was picked up for knife fighting, and at 15 he was in reform school.
And they sent him to reform school for stabbing somebody.
This is a very fine boy.
Look, ever since this kid was 5 years old, his father's been beating him up regularly. He used his fists.
So would I had a kid like that.
Oh, you're right. Oh, it's the kids. They don't listen. I got a kid. Yeah, when he was 8 years old, he ran away from a fight. And I saw it. And I was so ashamed. I told him right out. I said, I'm going to make a man out of you, or I'm going to bust you up into little pieces trying. When he was 15, he hit me in the face. Big kid. I haven't seen him in years. Rotten kid. I hate tough kids. You work your heart out for them. Now, hey, let's get on with it, huh?
Gentlemen, we're missing the point here. This boy, let's say he comes from a filthy neighborhood or a broken home. We can't help that. We're not here to go into all the reasons why slums are breeding grounds for criminals. They are. I know it, and so do you. Children who come from slum backgrounds are potential menaces to society.
Oh, you said it there. I don't want any part of it, believe me.
I spent my whole life in slums.
Now, wait a second.
No.
I mean that.
I used to play in the backyard that was filled with garbage. Maybe it still smells on me.
Hey, that's being reasonable, but there's nothing personal here.
There is something personal here.
Hey, now, calm down. Now, he didn't mean that, fella. Let's not be so sensitive, huh?
Who did he mean?
I can understand this sensitivity.
Let's stop bickering.
We're wasting time, gentlemen.
Hey, it's your turn.
All right, well, I had a peculiar feeling about this trial. Somehow I felt like the defense counsel never really conducted a thorough cross-examination. There were so many questions that were never asked.
Although it doesn't change my opinion about the guilt of the boy. Still, I agree with you. The defense counsel was bad.
So,
This is a point.
what about facts?
So many questions were never answered.
What about the ones that were answered? For instance, let's take that cute little switch knife. You know, the one that fine, upstanding kid admitted by.
All right, let's talk about that knife. Let's get it in here and look at it. Since the point, I'd like to look at that knife again.
You know, we all know what it looks like. I don't know why we have to look at it again. What do you think?
The gentleman has a right to exhibit some evidence.
Well, okay. All right with me.
This switch knife. It's a pretty important piece of evidence, wouldn't you agree?
I do.
So then let's get the sequence of events right as they pertain to the switch knife.
The boy admits to leaving the house at 8 o'clock, after being slapped by his father.
Or punched.
Or punched. He went to a neighborhood store and bought a switch knife. The storekeeper was arrested the next day when he admitted selling it to the boy.
Yeah, I think we all agree it's a very unusual knife. Hard to forget a knife like that.
The storekeeper identified the knife and said it was the only one of its kind he had in stock. Why did the boy get it?
As a present for a friend of his, he says.
Am I right so far?
Right. You bet he's right. Listen to this man.
And
He knows
next-
what he's talking about.
The boy claims that the knife must have fallen out of a hole in his coat pocket and that he never saw it again. Well, there's your story right there, gentlemen. You know exactly what happened. He took the knife, he went home, a few hours, stabbed his father with it. Now, are you trying to tell me the boy did it just to be amusing?
No, I'm just saying that it's possible that he lost the knife and someone else stabbed his father with a similar knife. It's possible. Let's see. Let's get the knife in here and take a look at it.
Thank you. Everyone connected with this case identified this knife. Now, are you trying to tell me, once again, that he went home and stabbed his father with it?
I just said it's possible. It's possible.
I'm saying it's not possible.
Take a look at this knife. It's a very strange knife. I've never seen one before like it in my life. Neither had the storekeeper who had sold it to him. Aren't you trying to make us accept a pretty incredible
I'm
coincidence?
trying to make anybody accept anything. It's possible.
Is that? I understand.
Hey, quiet, everybody, quiet!
Where did you get it?
Got it at a little junk shop around the corner from the $2.
Now, listen, you listen to me.
I'm listening.
Well, you pulled a cute little trick here. That proves absolutely zero. There might be 10 times like that. Who knows?
Maybe there are.
The boy lied, and you know it.
Maybe he didn't lie. Maybe he did lose tonight. Maybe he went to the movies. Maybe the cashier didn't recognize him because he sneaked into the movies. Maybe he was ashamed to say so. One here that didn't sneak into the movies a time or two when you were young?
I didn't.
Oh, really? Not even once?
We didn't have movies.
Oh.
Maybe he went to the movies. Maybe he lied. You think he lied?
That's a stupid question. Sure he lied.
You think he lied?
You don't have to ask me that. You know my answer. He lied.
What about you? You think he lied?
Well, I don't know.
Wait a second. What are you, the guy's lawyer? There are 11 of us who think he's guilty. You're alone. I don't know what you're trying to accomplish, but you can be stubborn and hang this jury, and he'll be tried again and found guilty as sure as he's born.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So what are you going to do about it? We can be here all night.
It's only one night. A man may die.
Oh, now, come on.
Yes, that's true.
Obviously, you don't think the boy is guilty.
I have a doubt in my mind.
But you haven't presented anything to us that would help us understand your doubt. There's the man downstairs. He heard it. He heard the kid shrieking out.
And the one across the L track. She saw it.
We know he bought a switch knife that night, and we don't really know where he was. At the movies.
Yeah, and earlier tonight, the kid and his father did have a fight.
The kid's been violent the whole time. Now, while that doesn't change my
All
opinion
right,
about...
all right, I have a proposition for everyone. I want to call for a vote. Like everyone here, you 11 of you, to vote by secret ballot. I'll abstain. If there's still 11 votes for guilty, I won't stand alone. We'll take in a guilty verdict right now.
Let's do it.
Okay, that sounds fair enough. Everyone agrees.
Very fair. Let's roll it.
Perhaps this is best.
Okay. Guilty? 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 Guilty?
That's 6. Please.
Guilty? 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 Not guilty? Man guilty.
Who was it? We have a right to know.
How do you like that?
All right, who did it? What idiot changed his vote?
Way to talk about a man's life.
Whose life are you talking about? The life of the dead man or the life of the murderer?
I want to know who was it.
So do I.
Excuse me, this was a secret ballot.
Well, we didn't look while we did it, but now I want to know.
A secret ballot. We all agree to his point, no? If the gentleman wants it to remain a secret...
Oh, there are no secrets in here. What are you talking about? I know who it was. You, hey, what's the matter with you? You come in here and you vote guilty, and then the slick preacher starts tearing your heart out about some poor little kid who just couldn't help being a murderer. And you change your vote. If that isn't the most...
Hey, now hold it!
Hold it.
Be fair.
Be fair? That's what I'm talking about. We're supposed to be putting a guilty man into the chair here, and all of a sudden we're paying attention to fairy tales.
Just a minute.
No, listen, I'm
Hey,
here.
come on now, let's try to get organized, gentlemen.
It isn't organized, but let's try to be civilized.
Please, I would like to say something here. I have always thought that a man was entitled to have unpopular opinions in this country. This is the reason I came here. I wanted to have the right to disagree.
Well, do you disagree with it?
You Usually I would, but in this one case I agree with you. But the point I wish to make is that in my country I am ashamed to say.
Now, what do we have to listen to? The whole history of your country?
It's always wise to bear in mind what happens in other countries when people aren't allowed to disagree. But we are. So let's stick to the subject.
Yeah, let's stick to the subject. Tell me, why'd you change your vote?
What makes you think I changed my vote?
Because I do. Now on with it.
There's nothing for him to tell you. He didn't change his vote. I did.
Oh, I was going to say something. You were so damn sure of yourself.
Oh, sorry. Now listen.
Maybe you'd like to know why.
No, I want to tell
Hey,
you.
the man wants to talk.
Thank you. This gentleman chose not to stand against us. That's his right. It takes a great deal of courage to stand alone, even if you believe in something very strongly. He left the verdict up to us. He gambled for support, and I gave it to him. I want to hear more. Vote was 10-2.
Well, that's fine. The speech is over. Can we go on now?
If there was anything in the boy's favor, I'd vote not guilty.
I don't see what it is.
Neither do I. I'm playing with straws.
Guilty as they get, that's the kid, I suppose.
This is one juror here. He's holding out. But he'll come around. He's got to. Reasonably, he's a very fundamentally reasonable man.
I guess so.
They have presented one fact to us here to support a not guilty verdict.
Sorry.
Yes, it is. And what is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt really mean?
What is a reasonable doubt?
Exactly. When life is at stake, what is a reasonable doubt?
Not much doubt here.
Two of the main things. Wonder why. I mean, I really wonder why.
You do hear stories about innocent men that go to jail and get death sometimes. And then years later, stuff turns up.
Then you hear about the killers that get set loose, they do it again. They squeeze out some technicality and they kill again.
Hey, buddy, listen, now that things have kind of calmed down a little bit, I kind of got excited a little while ago. Hey, you know how it is. I didn't mean to get nasty, huh? Nothing personal.
Okay.
Supposing you answer me this. If the kid didn't kill him, who did?
Well, as far as I know, we're supposed to decide whether or not the boy on trial is guilty. We're not concerned with anyone else's motives.
Maybe so. But who else had him?
His father was along in years, maybe an old grudge.
Remember, it's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. This is a very important thing.
Oh, everybody wants to be a lawyer. Suppose you explain to us just what your reasonable doubts are.
This is not easy. So far, it's only a feeling I have. A feeling. Perhaps you wouldn't understand.
No, I wouldn't.
So what are we going to do? Spend the night talking about your feelings? What about the facts?
You said a mouthful. Look, the old man heard the kid yell out, "I'm going to kill you." Then a second later, he heard the body fall. He saw the boy running out of the house 15 seconds after that.
Where's the reasonable doubt in that?
That's right. And let's not forget about the woman across the street. She looked through the open window and saw the boy stab his father. She saw it.
That's right. Now, if that's not enough for you.
That's not enough for me.
What is enough for you? I'd like to know.
How do you like this, guys? I'm talking into a dead phone.
The woman says she saw the murder through the window of the moving elevated train. The train had 5 cars. She saw it through the windows of the last 2 cars. She remembers the most insignificant details.
Right. Now, what do you got to say to that?
I don't know. Somehow it just doesn't sound right.
Oh, yeah. Well, supposing you just think about it, huh? Here, hand me your pencil. You and I might as well play a little tic-tac-toe, huh? Pass the time.
This is
Hey, what are you doing? Hey,
the man's
you
wife.
are. I got a good mind to come around here and
Hey, Chairman, please, I don't want any
Did
fights.
you see that? The nerve, the absolute nerve.
All right, never mind.
Come on, sit down.
Yeah, this isn't a game. Who does he think he is?
Weren't we talking about elevated trains?
Yes, we were.
So?
All right, well, how long does it it take an elevated train going at full speed past a given point?
What's it got to do with it?
How long does it take? Guess.
I wouldn't have the slightest idea.
Neither would I.
I don't think they mentioned it.
What do you think?
10 or 12 seconds, maybe.
So that's a pretty fair guess. Anyone else?
I would think about 10 seconds perhaps.
About 10 seconds, yes.
All right, we're agreed. 10 seconds. What are you getting at?
This. It takes 10 seconds for an elevated train to pass a given point, full speed, right? Now that given point is the window of the room in which the killing took place. Now, you can almost reach out the window and touch the L tracks, am I right?
That's right, I tried it.
So, let me ask you this, anyone here ever lived next to the L tracks?
I live next to them.
Make a lot of noise, don't they? I used to live near the L tracks. When the window's open, the train goes by, and the noise is almost unbearable. You can't hear yourself think.
Okay, you can't hear yourself think. Get to the point.
The old man downstairs said he heard the boy say, I'm
He
gonna kill
didn't
you.
say it, he screamed it.
All right, he heard the boy scream, I'm gonna kill you, and then 1 second later he heard the body fall. Now that's his testimony, right? 1 second? Right?
Right, yes.
All right. Now the woman across the street, she looked out and through the windows of the last two cars of the passing elevated train and saw the body fall. Right?
Right.
So, the last two cars. The last two cars.
Yeah, what are you giving us here?
It takes 10 seconds for an elevated train to pass a given point. Now that's 2 seconds per car. That train had to be going past the old man's window at least 6 seconds, and maybe more, before the body fell, according to the woman. Now the old man would have had to have heard the voice say, I'm going to kill you, with the front of the train rushing past his nose. It's not possible that he could have heard it.
Oh, what do you mean? Sure he
With
could.
an elevated train?
Well, the old man said he yelled
An
it
elevated
out.
train makes a lot of noise.
It's enough for me.
It's enough for me too.
I don't think he could have heard it.
Maybe the old man didn't hear it. I mean, with a...
Well, what are you people talking about? You're calling the old man a liar?
Something doesn't fit.
It stands to
You're
reason.
crazy? Why would he lie? What's he got to gain?
Attention, maybe.
You know, you keep coming up with these bright sayings. Why don't you send one to the newspaper? They pay $2.
That had to do with a man's life. Why might the old man lie? You ever like me heard?
It's just that I looked at him for a very, very long time. The seam of his jacket was torn under the sleeve. Did you notice that? He was a very old man with a torn jacket. He carried 2 canes. I think I know this man better than anyone here. He was a quiet, frightened, insignificant man who'd been nothing all of his life. Never had any recognition, name in the newspapers. Nobody knows him after 75 years. This is a very sad thing. A man like this needs to be recognized, be questioned and listened to, and quoted just once. This is very important.
And so now you're trying to tell us that he would lie about something like this just so he could seem important.
No, he wouldn't just lie, but perhaps he made himself believe that he heard those voices and that he recognized the boy's face.
That's the most fantastic thing I've ever heard. How can you make up a thing like that?
Not making it
Well, you
up.
must be making it up. Nobody would lie about anything
He
like
made
that.
himself believe that he told the truth.
Now, what do you know about it?
I speak from experience.
What?
I am the same man.
I think we all understand now. Thank you.
Well, if you want to admit you're a liar, it's okay with me.
All right, now that is too much.
Well, he's a liar. He just told
He
me.
didn't say he was a liar, he was explaining.
Didn't you just admit you were
He
a
was
liar?
explaining the circumstances under which the old man might have lied, so we would understand. There is a difference.
Well, a liar's a liar.
Oh,
that's all
please
there
have
is.
some compassion.
Gentlemen, please, look, we've got our job and our duty here.
I think they covered it.
I hope we have.
Is there anything else?
Copper.
Come on, please, let's go on.
All right, there's one more thing I'd like to point out here. Now, I think we've proven that the old man couldn't have heard the voice say, I'm going to kill you.
Oh, I disagree.
Oh, let him hear it. Let's hear it.
All right, but just supposing that the old man really did hear the boy say, "I'm gonna kill you." Now that phrase, how many times have we all used it? Probably hundreds of times. Junior, you're gonna do that one more time, I'm gonna murder you. Come on, Rocky, kill him, kill him. We say it every day, it doesn't mean we're really gonna kill somebody.
Don't the circumstances alter that somewhat?
The old man was murdered.
One more thing, the phrase was, "I'm going to kill you." And the boy yelled it out at the top of his lungs. And don't tell me he didn't mean it. Somebody says something like that, the way he said it, he means it.
You're right, they sure do mean it.
All right. All right, well, let me ask you this. Do you really think the boy would scream something like that out at the top of his lungs for the whole neighborhood to hear? I don't. He's much too bright a kid for that.
Right? He's a common, ignorant slob. He don't even speak good English.
He doesn't even speak.
The boy is clever enough.
I'd like to change my vote to not vote.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, that makes a vote 9-3 in favor of the oath.
I'd like to know why you changed your mind.
I think there's a doubt.
Oh, where? What's the doubt?
He had you believe,
There's the knife.
Oh, fine.
yeah, he had you believe in a fairy tale.
Go on, give us the reasons.
Well, and then there's the old man, right? I mean, maybe the old man did lie. Maybe he did lie. Maybe the old man doesn't like the kid.
Oh, well, if that isn't the end,
I just believe there's a doubt.
based on what? Stories this guy made up? He ought to be writing for Amazing Detective Monthly. He'd make a fortune. Listen, the kid had a lawyer, didn't he? Why didn't his lawyer bring up these points?
Well, I just can't think of everything.
Oh, brother. You sit there and pull stories out of thin air. Now we're supposed to believe that the old man didn't get out of bed, run to the door, and see the kid beat it down the stairs 15 seconds after the killing.
That's the testimony, I believe.
Did the old man
And the
say-
old man testified to this. Yes, he testified to this only so he could be important.
Did the old man say he ran to the door?
Ran, walked, what's the difference? He got there.
I don't remember what he said, but I don't see how he could run.
No, he said he went. I remember it now. He went from the bedroom to the front door. That's enough, isn't it?
Where was the bedroom again?
Down the hall somewhere.
Down the hall somewhere. Are we supposed to send a kid off to die because it's down the hall somewhere?
I thought you remembered everything. You don't remember
No,
that?
I don't remember everything.
I don't remember it either.
I'd like to see the diagram of the apartment, Mr. Foreman.
Why don't we have him run the trial over again so you can get everything straight?
Down the hall somewhere. Do you know? Do you know exactly? There's a man's life at stake here. Do you know exactly? Mr. Foreman?
Yeah, I heard.
What is it this time? How come you're the only one in the room who wants to see exhibits all the time?
I want to see this one too.
So do I.
I want to stop wasting time.
Are we going to start wading through where the body was found evidence again?
We're going to try to find out how a man who's had 2 strokes in the last 3 years and walks with a pair of canes can get to his front door in 15 seconds.
You said 20 seconds.
He said 15.
How long does he know 15 seconds? You can't judge that kind of thing.
He said 15. He was very positive.
He's an old man. Half the time he was confused. How can he be positive about anything? You know.
I don't know. Maybe you know.
Is this what you wanted? Yes, sir, thank you.
Sure, that's my job.
Okay.
Do me a favor, wake me when you
I've been looking at that diagram for 2 hours. Enough is enough.
Some of us are interested. Go ahead.
All right. Now, here's the diagram of the apartment in which the murder took place, and the old man's apartment is directly below it, exactly the same. There's the elevated train tracks, bedroom, another bedroom, living room, bath, kitchen. Here's the hallway, front door of the apartment. Here's the stairs. Now, the old man says he was in bed in this room, and he got up, walked out into the hall, walked down, opened the front door, just in time to see the boy rush down the stairs. Am I right?
That's what happened.
That's the story, I believe.
15 seconds after he heard the body call.
Okay.
All right. Now, his bed was by the window. The bedroom is 12 feet, so let's see, it's 12 feet from there to the door of the bedroom. The hall's another 43 feet 6 inches. So he had to get up out of bed, get his canes, walk to the bedroom door and open it, walk down the hall, and open the front door, all in 15 seconds. You think that's possible?
You know it's possible.
Well, I don't see why not.
Well, he would have been in a hurry, it hurt the street.
He can only walk very slowly. They had to help him into the witness chair.
You sound like it's a long walk, it's not.
For an old man who uses canes, it's a long walk.
What are you doing now?
I'd like to try this thing, see how long it took. I'm going to measure off 12 feet. That's the length of the bed.
Are you crazy? You can't recreate a thing like that.
Perhaps if we could see it. This is an important point.
Oh, it's a ridiculous waste of time.
Let him do it.
There's no harm in it. Foolish. But go ahead.
All right, this is the bedroom door. How far would you say it is from here to the door of this room?
About 20 feet.
Just about.
20 feet is close enough. So from here to the door and back, now that's 40 feet. Now that's a shorter distance than the length of hall the old man had to pass through. Wouldn't you agree?
50 feet, man.
Absolutely.
Look, this is absolutely insane. What makes you think you can do
And we
this?
can't stop him.
Never mind if I try. It only take 15 seconds, according to you. You might have a watch with a second hand on it here.
I have.
Good. All right. If you'll stamp your foot, that'll be the sound of the body falling.
Okay, we'll time you from there.
I think we can assume that he kept his canes by the bedside.
Right.
All right. Okay, I'm ready.
I'm waiting for the hand to get up to 60.
Speed it up. He walked twice as fast as that.
This is even more quickly, I think, than the old man walked into the courtroom.
No.
All right. If you want me to speed it up a little, I will.
Speak up.
Stop.
Right.
All right, what's the time?
15, 20, 30, 35, 39 seconds exactly.
Now that's it.
What do you think of that?
And the old cripple swore on his oath it was 15 seconds.
And he may have been a little bit off on the speed that the old cripple moved at, but 24 seconds off. But
Well, you know, far be it for me to call someone a liar, and even allowing for the difference in speed between the old man and you, well, I think there's still
Quite a discrepancy.
And it's my guess the old man was trying to get to his door and he heard somebody rushing down the stairs and then he assumed it was the kid.
I think it's possible.
Well, so, let me tell you people something, you know, I've seen a lot of dishonesty in my life, but that little display takes the cake with dishonesty. Now, tell him, huh? You come in here with your heart bleeding all over the floor with your wild stories about slums and injustice, and you have these soft-hearted old ladies listening to it. Well, I'm not. I'm getting sick of you. What's the matter with you people? The boy's guilty. He's got a burn. We're letting him slip through our fingers.
Slip through our fingers. What are you, his executioner?
Oh, I'm one of
Well,
them.
maybe you'd like to pull the switch.
Oh, for this kid, you better like to pull the switch.
It must feel like you want to pull the
Don't
switch.
you start on
You're a
me.
sadist.
You're
You want to see this kid die because you personally want to see it, not because of the facts. You're a beast. You disgust me.
No! Let go! Let me at him! I'm killing! I'm killing!
You don't really mean you'll kill me now, do you?
Well, what are you looking at?
Gentlemen, is everything okay?
I don't see why we have to behave like children here.
Nor do I. We have a responsibility. This is a remarkable thing about democracy, that we are all, what is the word? Notified. That we are all notified by mail to come to this place to decide on the guilt or innocence of a man we have not known before. We have nothing to gain or lose by our verdict. This is one of the reasons why we are strong. We should not make it a personal thing.
Thank you very much.
Why do you thank me?
We forget. It's good to be reminded.
I'm glad we're going to be civilized about this.
We're still nowhere, crying out loud.
Oh, we're somewhere. Getting there, maybe.
Maybe.
Who's got an idea?
I think we should take it on the phone. Mr. Foreman?
That's all right with me. Anyone object?
Let's vote.
Yes.
I want an open ballot. You know, let's call our votes out. I want to know where everybody stands.
That sounds fair to me. Does anybody object? Okay, I vote yes, guilty. 2,
Not guilty.
3,
Guilty.
4,
Guilty.
5,
Not guilty.
6,
Guilty. Not guilty.
7,
Guilty.
8,
Not guilty.
9,
Not guilty.
and 10.
Guilty.
11,
Not guilty.
and 12.
Guilty.
That's 6 to 6.
The vote is 6 to 6.
I'm ready to go into court right now and declare that we've got a hung jury. There's no sense in this going on anymore.
I'd like to know why you changed your vote. And why you changed yours. And why you did. There are 6 men here who think we may be turning a murderer loose on the streets. Emotion won't do. Why?
It would seem the old man did not see the boy run downstairs. I don't think that he could have heard him scream, "I'm going to kill you." Old men dream. And if he did hear him scream, he was going to kill him. And we have it on the authority of this man. Proven. He might not have meant it when he said it.
Why don't we take it to the judge? Let the kid take his chances with 12 other guys.
Well, you know, it's 6 to 6. I don't think we'll ever agree on anything.
Well, it's got to be unanimous, and we're never going to convince him.
I was alone, now there are 5 others who agree with me. There is a reasonable doubt.
They're going to convince me there's a doubt because I know there isn't no doubt.
I'll tell you what, maybe we are a hung jury. It happens sometimes.
We're not going to be a hung jury.
There's a reasonable doubt. I don't see it.
There's a reasonable doubt in my mind.
Well, maybe we should vote.
What do you mean, vote?
Oh, not again.
I'd like to know vote on what?
Well, are we or aren't we a hung jury?
You mean if we vote yes, we are a hung jury, and if we vote no, we're not a hung jury?
Well, that's just what I was thinking of.
I don't think we would ever agree or not if we were a hung jury.
We can't even agree on whether or not the window should be open.
Let's make it a majority vote, the majority wins.
7 or more of us vote yes that we are a hung jury, then we take it into the judge and tell him that we're a hung jury.
Right, and if 7 or more vote no, that means we are a hung jury. And we go and discuss it.
Yeah, well, let's call
This
it.
doesn't seem quite right.
Okay, and that means then if we have 7 or more votes that say guilty, that yes, we are a hung jury, then we take it into judge.
Right. Let's call them out.
Okay,
Anything to end this?
I vote yes, we are a hung jury. 2
No.
and 3.
Yes.
4,
Yes.
5,
No.
6,
No.
7,
Yes.
8,
No.
9,
No.
10,
Yes.
11,
No.
and 12.
Yes.
That's makes the vote 6 to 6.
I tell you
We
what.
can't even decide, get a majority of whether or not we're a hung jury.
I went with the majority vote on this question, although I didn't agree with voting that way. Not really. And I still don't. So I'm changing my vote to no. We are not a hung jury. I still believe that the boy is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. There's just some things I want to find out from those gentlemen who changed their minds.
Well, that means we're not a hung jury, and so we go on.
Good, we go on.
Why did you change your mind?
He seems to have, he's so sure of himself, and he's made a lot of good points, while he just gets mad and insults everybody.
So is the anger and the insults change the guilt of the boy? He did do it. Are you going to turn a murderer loose because one of the jurors gets mad when he thinks a murderer is being turned loose?
That's true.
There's a doubt.
See, I don't think so. The track is right in front of the window. Let's take that point. So the L train would make a low, rumbling noise. L trains screech when they go around curves, so the old man could have heard a scream, which is high-pitched. It's a tenement and the walls are thin.
Good, that's it.
And what if the old man was wrong about the time that it took, but right about whom he saw running down the stairs? Please remember, there were no fingerprints on the knife.
Hey,
And it's summer, so blood seemed useless.
Yeah.
And it might have taken him a second or two to pull out a handkerchief and wipe all the fingerprints away.
Yeah, this is the point.
Well, why don't we just time this one out to see?
Well, wait, what are we timing?
Yes, please, let's be exact.
What I'm trying to say is that the old man might have been wrong about the time that it took for him to get to the front door, but he was right about whom he saw running down the stairs. And it might have taken the murderer 39 seconds to wipe away all the fingerprints and get to the point on the stairs to where the old man could see him. The boy, that is.
Hey, this is getting better and better.
Now, we reconstructed the old man getting out of bed, walking to the door, we timed that. Let's reconstruct the actual crime.
Well, if we can reconstruct it.
Let's reconstruct the killing.
All right, hey, why don't you do the stats?
I'll do it.
Hey, why don't you be the one that gets stacked? Remember that, it takes 1 second just to fall.
And he fell on his side, his right side. So fall and roll up to your right side. If someone hates someone enough to murder him, it's reasonable to assume that he looked at his victim for a second or two, right?
Divorce yourself from this particular case. Just human nature.
Yes, it seems reasonable.
Right, yeah, hey, we're getting somewhere now, huh? Hey, I like it.
And you know, also, he could have also gotten to the point to where he realized that once the old man saw him at a certain point of the stairs, he couldn't have gone any further. Let's do this now.
Good.
Okay, about this on the fingerprints. You know, the kid wiped the fingerprints off of the knife. What about the doorknob? You know, if I saw a man coming into my home, you know, a man that hated me, if I saw him coming in and wiping the doorknob with a handkerchief as he came in, well, this is making me a little bit uneasy at that time. So this means that the doorknob was wiped clean after the killing, and this too takes time.
You timed the last one. You timed this one too.
All right.
Thank you. Stand up your foot when you're ready for me to start.
I'm waiting for the hand to go to 60.
Yes, sir. I'm going to kill you. And he would have wiped both knobs. Stop.
20, yeah. 20,
25, 29, 29 and a half seconds, I'd say.
And whoever did murder the old man, I still think it's the kid. Had to run down the stairs and down the hall, at least one flight of stairs.
See?
I mean, the old man downstairs may have been wrong on the time, but in view of this, I think he did see the kid run downstairs.
So now both time sequences check out. The one you did, the one we did. And while we're running down the stairs and everything, it does pretty much check out on time.
Sure, the old man maybe lied for attention, but he wanted whatever he wanted. He kept in mind that there was a life at stake.
So the story of the old man may well be true.
Except for the fact that the old man absolutely swore on the stand that it only took 15 seconds.
So we seem to all agree that it took between 25 and 40 seconds later.
So you're all now admitting that the old man lied in one case and told the truth in the other. I agree this does tend to confirm the old man's story. But in part now he's a proven liar, and that by your own admission.
That may be true. The old man may lie in part, but I think this is going to change my vote back again. Guilty.
Hey, what about you, huh? What do you think, Don?
I just don't know. I want to talk some more. First I thought guilty, and then I changed my mind, and now swinging back to guilty.
Hey, what about you? What do you think?
Oh, I'm in real doubts now. Real doubts.
He's guilty. I was right the first time.
Good. Now we're beginning to make some sense in here.
Well, I guess that makes about 9 votes guilty and 3 votes not guilty.
One more question about the old man downstairs. How many of you here live in an apartment?
I don't know what you're thinking, but I know what I'm thinking.
What's that?
I do not live in a tenement, but it is close. There is just enough light in the hall so you can see the steps no more. But the bulbs, they're so small. And this murder took place in a tenement. Remember how we all stumbled on the stairs?
The police officers all had big lights. One of them even had a flashlight.
An old man who misjudged the time by 20 seconds on this we all agree. This old man looked down the dark hallway of a tenement and recognized a running figure.
He was 100% wrong about the time. It took twice as long as he thought.
Then could he not also be 100% wrong about who he saw?
You're crazy. You're making that up out of thin air.
Oh, come on, we're a hung jury. Let's be honest about it.
Do you truly believe there is no room for reasonable doubt?
I don't.
I beg your pardon. But perhaps you do not understand the term reasonable doubt.
What do you mean I don't understand you? Who do you think you are to talk to me like that? How do you like this guy? He comes running over here for his life, and before he gets his big breath, he's telling us how to run the show. The arrogance of him.
No one is asking where anybody came from.
I was born right here.
Or where your father came from.
Look, maybe it wouldn't hurt if we take a few tips from those who come running over here. Maybe they learned something we never do. We're not so perfect.
I am used to this. Thank you. It's all right.
No, it's not all right.
Okay, I apologize. Is that what you want?
Yes, that's what I want.
Let's stop arguing. Does anybody have something constructive to say?
This whole business about the stab wound, how the wound was made and the downward angle.
Oh, don't tell me we're going to talk about that. We've been over and over that before.
I know we did, but I don't go along with it. The kid is 5 foot 8 inches tall, and his father was, what, 6 foot 2 inches tall. That's a difference of 6 inches. It's an awfully awkward thing to stab down in the chest of somebody that's a half a foot shorter than you.
Hey, look. I'm going to have to show you something. You won't be satisfied until you see it again, right? I'm going to give you a demonstration. Okay, now, why don't you stand up? All right, now watch this. I don't want to have to do it again. Okay, is that about 6 inches?
That's more than 6 inches.
Yeah, well, let it be more than.
Hey,
the anger. That's how I do it if I stab somebody that's taller than I am, and that's how it was done. Take a look at it. Tell me I'm wrong.
Down and in. I guess there's no warning.
Ever stabbed anybody?
Of course not.
Did you?
Oh, don't be silly.
Did you?
No.
Well then, how'd you get all your information about how it's done?
What do you mean? It's just common sense.
Have you ever seen anybody stabbed?
No.
All right, let me ask you this. This kid's an experienced knife fighter. Went to reform school for knife fighting, right?
That's right.
Look at this. Isn't that a rather awkward way to handle a knife?
What are you asking me for?
Wait a minute. What's the matter with me? Let me see that.
Ever seen a knife fight?
Yeah, I have.
Where, in the movies?
No. In my backyard. On my front step. The vacant lot across the street. Too many of them. Switch knives came with the neighborhood where I grew up. It's funny, I didn't think of that before, but I guess you try to forget some things. Anyone who's ever used a switch knife knows stab down. You don't handle a switch knife like that. Use it underhand.
So the kid couldn't have made the kind of wound that killed his father.
Well, I suppose it's conceivable he could have made the wound, but it's not very likely, not if he had any experience with switch knives. And we know that the kid had a lot of experience with switch knives.
No, I don't believe it.
All right, what do you think?
I don't know.
What about you?
I'll tell you also, I think we're getting nowhere fast. Let's break it up and go home.
But before we decide anything more, I'd like to try to pull this together.
Oh, this ought to be good.
He has a right, let him go ahead.
How many times is two?
Last year,
You know, not at the agency. I'm used to the big shots pulling it together, so why not? Chip up a few shots and see if anything hits the green.
I'd just like for everyone to look at this logically and consistently.
We had guilty.
I'd like to know, is this kid smart or is he dumb?
What do you mean?
But this is a kid who went to reform school for knife fighting. Now, the night of the murder, he went out and bought a knife, a switchblade. Now, it would take a pretty stupid kid to go and murder a man, his father, with an instrument that everybody would associate with the kid.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he's dumb.
But if he were dumb, why would he make the kind of wound that an inexperienced man would make with a knife?
I'm not sure I understand.
To commit murder must take a great deal of emotion, great hatred. And at that moment, you would handle the knife the best way you could. Now, an experienced man would handle it the way he'd been trained, underhand. But someone who had not been trained would go overhand. But this kid's being very smart. Everyone knows he's an experienced knife fighter. So at that moment, he's smart enough to make the kind of wound that an amateur would make. Now, that's a smart man. Smart enough to wipe away the fingerprints. Maybe even smart enough to wait for the L-track to pass by to cover the noise. Now, is this kid smart or is he dumb?
Oh, now listen here. Just wait a minute.
Well, the woman across the L track saw the murder through the L train. So someone in that L train could have seen the murder too.
That's a possibility, but no one did that we know of.
Was it take an awfully dumb man taking that chance to do the murder if the L train went by?
Dumb man, a stupid man, someone swept away by emotion, probably didn't hear a thing, probably didn't even hear the L train coming. But whoever killed the father did it as well as he could.
So?
This kid's dumb enough to do everything to associate himself with a switchblade and a switch knife murder. And then a moment after the murder, he becomes smart. And he's smart enough to make the kind of wound that would lead us to suspect someone else. But at the same time, he's dumb enough to commit the murder while the L train's going by. But then he becomes smart enough to wipe away the fingerprints. To say this guy's guilty, you gotta say he's dumb from 8 o'clock till about midnight, then he becomes smart for a moment after midnight, then he becomes dumb for a few seconds, then he becomes smart again, then he becomes stupid. So stupid that he can't come up with a good alibi. Is this smart? Kid smart or is he dumb? To say he's guilty, you gotta toss his intelligence like a pancake. There's doubt. There's doubt. Doubt.
I had thought of that.
The old man downstairs, he swore on the stand it was only 15 seconds. He insisted on only 15 seconds, but we all agreed that it had to have taken almost 40 seconds.
So does the old man lie half the time, and then the other half the time he tells the truth?
Exactly. To say this boy's guilty, you gotta say smart and he's dumb, and smart and he's dumb, and so on. And also for the boy to be guilty, the old man has to tell the truth half the time, and the other half the time he has to lie. There is reasonable doubt.
I'm sold on reasonable doubt. I think I am too.
One more talk, now I've had it.
I'd like to call for a vote, Mr. Foreman.
Okay, another vote's been called for. I guess the quickest way to do this is just to show of hands. All of those voting not guilty, raise your hand. Nine. Okay, guilty. 3. The vote is 9-3 in favor of acquittal.
I don't understand you people. How can you believe this kid is innocent? Look, I don't have to tell you. You know how these people lie. I don't have to tell you that. They don't know what the truth is. And let me tell you, they don't need any real good reason to kill somebody. They get drunk and bang, somebody's lying in the gutter. Nobody's blaming them. It's the way they are. You know what I mean? They're violent. Human life doesn't mean as much to them as it does to us. Where are you going? Listen, these people are drinking and fighting all the time. Somebody gets killed, so somebody gets killed. They don't care. Sure, there's some good things about it. I'm the first to say that, you know. I've even known a few that are pretty decent. But they're the exception. Look, most of them, it's like they have no feelings. Yeah, they can do anything. What's going on here? Listen to me, I'm speaking my piece. Now you listen to me. We better watch out. We better watch out. Take it from me, this kid is on trial. Well, don't you want to know about them? They're no good. There's not a one of them that's any good. Trying to tell you something.
I've had enough. If you open your mouth again, I'm going to split your skull. All right, everybody, sit down. I still believe the boy is guilty of murder, and I'll tell you why. To me, the most damning evidence came from the woman who claimed she actually saw the murder committed.
That's exactly right. As far as I'm concerned, that's the most important testimony.
All right, well, let's talk about her testimony. What exactly did she say?
I believe I can recount it accurately. She said she went to bed at 11 o'clock that night. Her bed is next to an open window. And through that open window, when she lies down, she can see directly into the window across the street. She tossed and turned for about an hour, unable to fall asleep. Finally, at about 12:10, she laid down, she looked over, and she saw the boy stab his father. Now to me, this is unshakable testimony.
That's what I mean. That's the whole case.
I mean, in view of this, I don't even see how you could vote for acquittal. What do you think?
Well, maybe. There's just so much evidence to
Oh, what do you mean, and maybe? He's exactly right. You can throw out all the other evidence.
See, that was my feelings. I didn't want to deny validity of the points this gentleman has made. But what about the story of the woman? She saw it.
What time is it?
20 minutes after 7.
There's a chance to let us come back and finish in the morning. I've got a kid with the mumps.
Not a chance.
Did you see the clock without your glasses on?
Not clearly. Glasses are a nuisance, aren't they?
What do you do when you wake up in the middle of the night and want to know what time it is?
I put on my glasses and I look at the clock.
I just lie in bed and wait for the clock to chime. My father gave it to me when we were married, my wife and I. It took us 10 years before we had a place to put it.
You wear your glasses to bed?
Of course not. Nobody wears their glasses.
The woman who testified she saw the murder wears glasses. What about her?
Did she wear glasses?
Of course. The woman wore bifocals. I remember this very well. They looked quite strong.
That's right. Bifocals. She never took them off.
It's funny, I don't even remember that.
I think it's logical to assume that she didn't wear her glasses to bed, and I don't think she would have put them on to casually glance out the window. Now, she testified that the murder took place the instant she looked out the window, and the lights went out a split second later. I don't think she would have had time to put them on then. Maybe this woman honestly believed that she saw the kid stab his father. I say she saw only a blur.
How do you know what she saw? Maybe she's farsighted. How does he know these things?
Is there anyone here that still doesn't think there is a reasonable doubt?
Well, I will always wonder, but I think there's a reasonable doubt.
Oh, I think he's guilty.
Anybody else?
No. I have reasonable doubt.
No, you're alone.
11 votes not guilty. We've got 1 vote guilty.
Here, if I am alone, I have a right.
Yes, you have a right.
Well, I think the boy's guilty. What else do you want?
Your arguments.
I gave you my
No,
argument.
we're not convinced. We want to hear them again. We have time.
Look, hey, you. Hey, what's the matter with you? Huh? You're the guy, you made all the arguments. You can't back out now. A murderer's going to be walking the streets. He's got to die. You got to stay with me.
I'm sorry. I'm convinced. I'm not wrong often, but I guess I was just this once. I do have reasonable doubt.
We're waiting.
You're not going to intimidate me. I'm entitled to my opinion. It's going to be a hung jury. That's it.
Nothing we can do about that except to hope that one day, maybe in a month or so, you might have a nice sleep.
You're all alone.
Takes a great deal of courage to stand alone.
If there is a hung jury, there will be a new trial. And some of us will give these points to various lawyers.
Come on. All right. Not guilty.
Waiting.